What's going on, ladies and gents? How are you doing? Welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare weapon review video, and today we're going to be talking about the Fennec SMG. That's right, because as you people know, I've had a lot of fun using the Fennec SMG ever since it came out, because with the Fennec SMG, it is super deadly for close quarters battle and for medium quarters battle as well. And as for long range battles, you're mostly going to have to either tap or burst the enemy, just because for long range battles, the Fennec SMG usually has a very high recoil, and the very high recoil of the Fennec SMG makes it almost impossible to try and control the spray for long distance battle unless you're spraying the enemy in a 3-round burst, or as you're just single fire tapping them. But what makes the Fennec SMG absolutely deadly for close and medium quarters battle is the fact that you can easily spray down the enemy with it, and for most of the time you can win gunfights with it, just because the Fennec SMG does a pretty decent amount of damage. Although the only downside is that it burns through ammo very fast. So of course, I use the scavenger perk always whenever I use this class. Now the thing about the Fennec submachine gun in this game is that it's almost equivalent to the Vector from Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just because the Fennec has the exact weapon layout and the exact magazine and the exact ammunition that you would normally find in a Vector in the previous Call of Duty games, because both the Vector and the Fennec submachine gun use the 45 ACP ammo. Now of course, with these attachments that I'm about to mention in this video, you can kind of reduce the recoil on the weapon of the Fennec. So let's get started, shall we? So the first and ever attachment that I highly suggest using for this weapon is the ZLR 16-inch Apex barrel. And let me tell you something, using the ZLR 16-inch Apex barrel for this gun makes the biggest difference in the world, because compared to not using a barrel attachment for this gun, I noticed that using the weapon is kind of, more complicated, since it has a very extreme high fire rate with just a short barrel. However, with the long 16-inch barrel, it makes shooting the enemy absolutely more precise, and you can practically be more precise with your shots, and for most of the time, for medium and for short range battles, you won't miss any shots, as you'll be able to control the weapon's recoil more easier. So I highly recommend using the ZLR 16-inch Apex barrel, because when I first slapped this attachment on the weapon and I used it in the next game, trust me, it just made the absolute biggest difference in the world. So that's the first attachment that you want to use for this weapon. Now if you're going to go into a Warzone gameplay and say that you're on rooftops, then that's when using the ZLR 16-inch barrel gives you the biggest advantage over the enemy, just because for a long range battle you can try spraying the enemy with the ZLR barrel, as it reduces the kick of the weapon and increases the accuracy of the bullet. However, you're going to have to find a way to control the recoil of the weapon if you're going to spray fully an enemy from a long distance battle if you're playing in Warzone. And one more key aspect of using the 16-inch barrel is that you can easily beam the enemies from top of buildings and from the top of rooftops, just because I just feel like that the barrel just perfectly combines insanely well with the gun, especially if you're trying to take on rushing enemies. You see enemies trying to rush at you if you're playing like in a regular online map, then using the 16-inch barrel allows you to stay focused with the spray on the enemy, and it's not going to like throw off your shot. And now the second attachment that you want to use with this gun is the 5 mW laser. However, the only downside of using the 5 mW laser is that it can give away your position, but with the 5 mW laser, it allows you to be more accurate with the hip fire if you're facing an enemy from short and medium distance battle, because I noticed that by using the laser I was able to be more accurate from my hip firing with this weapon. So I would say use the 5 mW laser if you want to improve your hip fire skills. And for the third attachment that I highly recommend using for this weapon is the Underbarrel Foregrip, just because the Underbarrel Foregrip works absolutely incredibly well with the Fennec SMG. And the biggest positive of using the Underbarrel Foregrip is that you can be more accurate also with your hip firing with this weapon, and for your vertical recoil you can control the recoil way better, so that you can practically have a more precise shot on the enemy as you're engaging in a gunfight battle. So I would say definitely equip the Underbarrel Foregrip if you're planning to use the Fennec, no matter what class setup you want to use. And of course, you want to use the 40-round drum magazine with this weapon, just because this weapon burns through ammo very fast, and by using the 40-round drum magazine, you're going to be able to take out more enemies at once if they're rushing at you. Depends on what your positioning is. So without a doubt, use the 40-round drum magazine, because it's going to work best to your advantage, because preserving ammo with this weapon is an absolute must. I can't stress how important it is to preserve the most amount of ammo with this weapon. So I'd say use the 40-round drum magazine. And last but not least, you want to use the fully loaded perk with this weapon, just because it allows you to start off with the most amount of ammo as you spawn into a Warzone game. If you're playing a regular Call of Duty game, using the fully loaded is without a doubt absolutely important if you want to have the most amount of ammo with this weapon, because my biggest hope for this weapon whenever I use it is that I can have enough ammo to take on upcoming enemies. But that's going to be it here with ladies and gents. Using all these setups with this weapon absolutely packs a punch, and I think that this can be kind of like a pack-a-punch setup for the Fennec SMG. So try using this class setup and let me know if this worked out for you in the comment section below. And I hope you people enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and y'all have a good one. And don't forget to follow me on Twitch as well. Link is below in the description.